Welcome to our show. This is your host, Donald Kaisamba with Sync Consultant LLC, and we are a global podcast featuring visionary leaders shaping our future. We have an exciting news today for you guys. Uh, Sync Consultants LLC is very proud to officially announce our strategic partnership with Global Institute for IT Management, also known as GIIM, to launch a global education platform designed for professionals and executive across industries. We don't have limitations across industries, right? So with this collaboration, we bring to you over 35 skill-based programs to market focused on real-world impact, not just theory. Whether you're a CEO, tech leader, or scaling executive team, our courses are built to equip you with practical tools for growth, digital transformation, and operational excellence. So with me, I have Dr. Jerry Luftman, a global leader in IT business alignment, former IBM executive, academic pioneer, Stevenson Dean Professor, founder of GIMM, also known as Global Institute for Management, which delivers one of the most respected executive IT education portfolios worldwide, right? So, as we dive in, Dr. Jerry, welcome to our show. Do you want to just let our audience know just a little bit about yourself and how long you've been doing GIMM or how long you've been in the education world?
You did such a wonderful job introducing our new partnership and my background. Pretty much is what you said. And we can get right into the Q&A and important things as to why people have joined to listen to the podcast. But basically, you see these gray hairs. I've been around for a bit, and 20 plus years at IBM, including a CIO, 20 years at Stevens Institute as a dean and professor, and now 12 years at the Global Institute. It puts me at about 125 years old, but I'm in very good shape for my age.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Jerry, for that introduction.
You can call me just Jerry, right? My mother's the only one who calls me doctor.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. I want to make it, thank you, Jerry, for the introduction. So we're going to dive into it. What we're talking about today is the next wave of CIOs will not be traditional technologists, right? So back to you, Jerry. So a question for you here, it will be, what has fundamentally changed about the CIO role in the last 5 to 10 years?
That's a great question. And to me, there's no better place to be in IT than being in IT. Things that are going on today are things that we only dreamt about when I first entered the information technology as a career. When I first started, we were pretty much focused on back office support types of projects, payroll, accounts receivable, accounts payable kind of initiatives. But we only recently started to see the impact that IT is having on strategic revenue generating initiatives, front office types of initiatives. Now, we were talking about this for 15, 20 years, and there were some small number of examples of organizations that were doing that. But today, every company, every industry, if they're not focused on leveraging information technology, digitalization for strategic initiatives, they're going to go out of business. So basically the increased impact of emerging technologies on strategies, business strategies, front office types of things makes IT much more visible to the constituency, the clients, the customers of the company. So companies will succeed or fail based on these types of offerings and services. And of course, those organizations that don't leverage emerging technologies, they're going to go out of business. And we're seeing that happen more and more and more. And the impact of AI today is just at its infancy, and we're still learning, and we're still making the same dumb mistakes that we made 40 years ago, quite frankly. So it's clearly, in my opinion, the most exciting time to be in IT. And candidly, I can't retire because it's so exciting. The things that we used to just introduce and elicit 10 years ago or so are all happening in reality, and the impact is so exciting.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry, for that. Now that you just mentioned briefly about the education piece, so we're gonna talk a little bit about education that matches the moment, right? So a question for you there would be, why don't traditional programs prepare leaders for the realities of digital transformation?
Well, from the years now, I basically have believed that there was a significant gap in the skills that many universities and training companies have, and what they were providing and what industry really required to be successful. So it's not just having the technical skills that are necessary to succeed, especially in today's world. In today's world, you need to understand how to leverage that technology. So you need to also have the kind of skills that include things like management, leadership, industry, interpersonal, including communication type of skills. Because it's not, you can be the best technologist in the world, but if you can't effectively work with your non-IT business partners or clients, you're not going to succeed in today's world. You really need to know how to leverage it. And most of these companies do very good job in providing those technical skills, but they don't provide the effective other skills, the industry leadership type of skills. Now, that being said, our sweet spot for programs tends to be IT professionals with 10 or more years of experience. Typically, candidates have proven themselves as good technical people, perhaps good project managers, perhaps lower level managers or technical consultants, but they're looking to move up in their careers. And again, you can make a nice living leveraging these technical skills, but to really succeed in your career, you need to move up in your ranks and understand those other types of things to be more successful. Now, that being said, in today's world, as we said, where every company, every industry is becoming a digital one, our biggest growth, even though the largest population are IT people with 10 years of experience, but our biggest growth right now are non-IT executives who read about these emerging technologies like AI and blockchain and the impact of security. And they're hungry to find out what the implications these technologies are having and will have on their companies, on their industries, and what the roles need to be to ensure that they succeed, let alone not going out of business. So the demand for the types of programs that we're offering around the globe is really significant and very exciting. Again, there are thousands of companies out there that do a good job in providing technical skills and technical training, but nobody comes close to offering the breadth of the digital management programs that we provide to ensure that we're closing that skills gap and preparing candidates for the exciting career that we talked about.
Right. So thank you for that rundown. Just to maybe put things on the edge there. So what kind of transformation have you seen in leaders who complete your programs, particularly mid-level or technical folks moving into leadership?
Well, that's one of the exciting parts of being a professor or being a teacher, and focusing in on the kind of things that candidates need, and seeing and hearing about candidates moving up and succeeding in their careers. And we hear about that all of the time. And whether our candidates are from a global 1,000 company or a small intermediate sized company, it really has proven to be quite effective. The key element that we focus on throughout all of our programs are what we call IT business alignment, getting IT and non-IT organizations to work more effectively together. And as we said, IT alone can't do it, and business alone can't do it. But how they work harmoniously in an aligned fashion has become essential. And we've got models that have clearly demonstrated around the globe that companies that have a more mature, a more effective IT business relationship, partnership, integration, also find that their leaders in their respective industries, their revenues tend to be higher, the higher their alignment maturity assessment is. So we know these relationships between IT and non-IT organizations, the personnel, the people within IT and non-IT organizations working effectively together, are essential, especially in today's world. I alluded to the fact that the success rate of IT projects today is as bad as it was 40 years ago. We see that today with AI, the most exciting emerging technology. And the success rates are still poor, in 20-30% at best. It's not because IT or non-IT organizations aren't good project managers, and it's not because IT doesn't understand the technology. It all stems from making sure that you have IT and non-IT organizations working together to ensure that they understand the impact that the technology is going to have. So, for example, you can have the best data in the world. It doesn't matter. You could have the best infrastructure that the data resides on. It doesn't matter. You can have the best applications technically that leverage the data that runs on the infrastructure. It doesn't matter. Now, you have to have data, infrastructure, applications integrated together naturally, but the value doesn't come from the technology. The value comes from how the business leverages all of those things to change what they do to make a difference. And that takes the business, the non-IT organizations working in concert with IT, because it's the integration of the infrastructure, the data, the applications, and the people, the organization, in understanding the changes that must be made that leverage those technologies that will make for a successful initiative. And we are still making that same fundamental mistake today with our AI initiatives. You can't just give it to IT and say, okay, implement this new technology and make us money. It's just not going to work without, again, IT and non-IT organizations working together, which brings us to why our programs have been successful, because, again, getting IT and non-IT to understand the kind of things that they need to understand to be able to work effectively together are basically the difference makers that would make for success. And again, we know those organizations that have established a stronger relationship between IT and non-IT organizations are those that are succeeding much better than their competitors.
Great. Thank you, Jerry, for that. Now we're going to just talk a little bit more into the synchronization of our partnership, right? So GIIM and Sync Consultants solving the education or talent problem with the world today, right? So from your perspective, how can firms, small businesses or individuals use our partnerships to elevate their workforce and win smarter, not just bigger, business solutions or contracts, or just impact their companies?
Well, as you alluded to in the introductory comments, we've got 35 different 4-course digital management education programs. Very, very comprehensive set of programs, focusing in on different industry aspects as well as technical aspects and leadership aspects. All 35 of those 4-course programs are available live, whether it's live face-to-face, live online, like you and I are now, or through a learning management system where you have your own registration link. So the programs that are on the learning management system, it's about 7 of them, are the most popular ones. And it's basically anytime, any place. But those programs are also available using the blended or hybrid model, where we supplement the pre-recorded lectures with live class projects and discussions. But however you elect to have your program delivered, basically your constituency should contact you and you'll work with them in identifying what the program would be, what the right delivery model would be. If it's an individual, the best model would likely be using the learning management system.
Right.
But we pride ourselves on the breadth of our programs, our faculty, and our ability to be very flexible in working, especially with organizations, to put together a program that really meets the objectives of the organization, and whether the candidates are IT or non-IT or both, to ensure that the organizations succeed.
Thank you, Jerry, for that. So let's talk about the ROI piece just specifically. What one metric or success story that shows our executive level training is impactful with outcomes, not with impactful with outcomes.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, and that is the IT business alignment maturity assessment, where we've identified companies that have a higher maturity level, a stronger relationship between IT and non-IT organizations, have proven to have outperformed or other organizations in their industry. So we know the merits of the concepts that we focus on and the value of our programs. So we're excited to work with organizations such as yours to be able to take advantage of the breadth of our programs with your network of organizations, companies, and individuals.
Sure. Thank you, Jerry, for that opportunity. So let's lighten things around in maybe 60 seconds or less for these next final stage. Based on your experience, what's the most overrated skill in digital leadership today?
Probably technical skills. Not the technical skills aren't important, but it's really, again, the balance of technology, leadership, management, industry, and interpersonal skills. Technical skills alone are not going to make it. I mean, you could take a technical person, whether they're from Baltimore or Brooklyn, and they're going to be the same. Or you can even throw in Bangalore. Probably a lot of other B cities out there. But the technical skills and technical competition is pretty much the same. I mean, a good technical person is going to compete just on those skills and basically equivalent. The ones who stand out, the ones who really succeed, are the ones that go beyond the technical skills and understand how that technology can be leveraged, how they could work more effectively with their non-IT business partners. And that, again, takes the industry, leadership, management, business, interpersonal skills that we focus on throughout our programs.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. So another one coming your way. What's the most underrated skill based on your experience?
Well, it's pretty much what I just said. It's the industry, leadership, communication skills. People usually basically, who needs to know that stuff? But it clearly is proven to be a major gap in some of the folks' ability to really succeed in today's world. So recognizing and accepting that those skills are essential to a very, very successful career, and going to participate in programs like the ones that we're working together to offer really become very, very important to one's future. And those people who recognize that potential, that opportunity, take advantage of those programs, those are the ones who are really going to succeed in today's very, very exciting field of digitalization or information technology or whatever other word you'd like to use to describe it.
Thank you, Jerry. You know, what is your bold prediction for CIOs in 2026? What do you think that is?
Well, change is the name of the game, so change will continue. That's the one thing that doesn't seem to be changing. And the rate of change is happening even quicker. If you take a look at AI, we're still, like we said earlier, babes in the woods, and the successes are still small. I think in the next 5 or 6 years, you're really going to see major transition or major transformation happening as organizations take more understanding and leverage the technology more effectively across their companies, their organizations, for front office visible types of initiatives. I think you're also going to see a continued trend of more and more non-strategic types of activity being outsourced. That's just a trend that's been happening, and I think it's going to continue for the foreseeable future, where the local organization is going to be focusing more on the strategic initiatives that they should be focusing in on. Also, from an organizational point of view, I think you're going to see the trend of more and more IT people reporting directly to non-IT business units. So there'll still be a centralized IT organizations. There are some who suggest that the job of a CIO is short-lived. They're going to be gone. Perhaps the name will be different, but the head of the information technology organization or the digital organization still will be there. And they're going to be smaller, perhaps, in scope to what that centralized old IT organization used to be, where they had all IT functions reporting to that one person. But I think, again, you're going to have more of the non-strategic stuff outsourced. You're going to get many more of the applications decentralized to the business units. So that central unit is really going to focus on the integration across the business units, interfacing with the different vendors, etc. And last, which is a real big challenge, and perhaps one that we need to continue to address and is being debated, is the fact that in today's world, in addition to the CIO, we have things like the CTO, Chief Technology Officer, the CISO, the Chief Information Security Officer, the Chief Data Officer, CDO, the Chief Analytics Officer, the Chief AI Officer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, all of them in their respective spaces suggest they should report to the CEO, the head of the company or organization. Guess what? They can't all report to the CEO, nor should they all report to the CEO unless it's a technical company, perhaps. So I think you're going to see a resurgence of those individual entities coming back to that central IT executive role, especially as companies have had more experience and success with those different technologies. But oftentimes, IT is its own worst enemy in trying to debate with the business unit that, security should report to the CEO or data or whatever. And I think that should be the job of a centralized IT organization. I think we're going to see that, but it's not going to be immediate, but certainly within the next 5 or 10 years, I think you'll start seeing that. And I hope we do, because if not, the CEO is not going to have any time to run their business.
Exactly. And we've seen a lot of that happening already. Some of the jobs are relevant, they're not relevant, they're relevant, they're not relevant. So there's a lot of that going on.
Yes, sir.
Right. So for our listeners, if you're a firm leader, a program executive, or transformation lead and want to explore how Sync Consultants and GIIM can help embed executive readiness into your agency, company, or contracting team, you can do the following things. You can learn more by going to the www.global iim.com. Is that right?
Got it.
Right. And another thing we're going to before we close, we can share with you guys the accessibility links that one of them that you see around. So we'll explain that briefly. So here it is here. So this is just the certification that you will receive once you complete a course with GIIM. It looks like this, right? Any comment there, Jerry, before I go?
No, that's fine. That's that's the certificate after, for folks that come in through Sync Consulting would receive. And this particular screenshot is literally the registration link for your asynchronous pre-recorded program. So you can scroll down a little bit and show them the full registration. So these are the programs that are available pre-recorded that candidates can take. And these are the 6 or 7 programs that are available asynchronously online, but there are 35 in total, all of which are available live. So these are just the popular programs that we also have available through our learning management system.
Okay. Anything you want to mention about the tuition payment and its alternatives?
Well, the tuition really depends on multiple criteria. The $750 fee here is usually what we receive in North America, Western Europe, most of the Gulf countries. There's flexibility sometimes we offer in developing countries. There's less flexibility in the tuition for the live programs, live face-to-face or live online. But we have programs all over the globe and would be happy to work with you, through you, and any of your network organizations to put together a program that would help their company prepare for the exciting digitalization of their industry and their companies.
All right. Well, thank you. If you need more information, or you want to learn more, or you want to have a conversation, or you want to build a constructive program for your organization, we can make it custom fit and custom ready for you as well. We have the hybrid model and the live model. So whichever ones you're interested in, you can also contact me at d.k@syncconsultants.org. Having said that, Dr. Jerry, is there anything else you would like to add before we close? Any final words?
No, it's a pleasure having the opportunity, and I appreciate having the opportunity to speak with your large network of folks. And it's always nice chatting with you, and I look forward to working with you and your team as we proceed with launching our initiative.
Same here. Let's go.
All right, Guy.